Hello friends, welcome to the 8th part of our constitutional series. I am Dr. M. Sivaji Rao, Principal of Sri Prasanna College of Law, Kurnool. In this video, today I am going to explain about the right to equality under Indian Constitution. Please consider subscribing to get notified for more videos on Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution guarantees right to equality under Article 14 to 18 to its citizens. Particularly, Article 14 is the most important article among these 5 articles. Article 14 says, the state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. Article 15 says, the state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth or any of them. Article 16 says, there shall be equality of opportunity for all citizens in matters relating to employment or appointment to any office under the state. Article 17 abolishes untouchability. Article 18 abolishes of all titles except military and academic. So, this Article 14 embodies the idea of equality expressed in the preamble. The remaining articles 15 to 18 lays down specific application of the general rules laid down in Article 14. Article 14 uses two expressions, that is equality before the law and equal protection of the law. This equality before the law finds a place in almost all written constitutions which guarantees fundamental rights. Equality before the law is from English origin. Equal protection of the law is from American origin. Both the expressions are aimed to establish the equality of status. Though the both expressions equality before the law and equal protection of the law seems to be identical, they do not convey the same meaning. However, one common dominant idea of both expressions is equal justice. Now, I will explain about equality before law. The equality before the law is a negative concept prohibiting discrimination among the equals. Right to equality before law is an aspect of what Dicey calls the rule of law in England. Rule of law means that no man is above the law and every person, whatever be his rank or conditions, is subject to the jurisdiction of ordinary courts. According to Dicey, every official from the Prime Minister down to constable or a collector of taxes is under the same responsibility for every act done without legal justification as any other citizen. The concept of equality does not mean absolute equality among all persons, which is physically not possible to achieve. According to Dr. Jennings, equality before the law means that among equals the law should be equal and should be equally administered, that like should be treated alike. Dicey had given the following meanings to this term equality before the law. First one is supremacy of law. It means that the law is supreme over all and the state also cannot act beyond a law. Whenever a person has violated a law, he can be punished as per that law, but he cannot be punished beyond that law at the whims of the state. Second one, equality before law. While administering a law, it should be implemented equally to all. It means that all the people should be subject to the same provisions of law which is administered by the ordinary courts of the land. However, Dicey had given one exception to the monarch under this rule, because in England it is believed that king can do no wrong. However, there are some exceptions to the rule of equality before the law. First exception is member of parliaments and member of legislative assemblies. Under articles 105 and 194, the members of parliament and MLAs will make many statements on the floor of the house. For those statements, they are not answerable to any court in India for anything which they have said before the house. Second one, during the proclamation of emergency. Under article 359 of Indian Constitution and during the proclamation of emergency, all the fundamental rights except article 20 and 21 will be suspended automatically. Further, if any fundamental right is violated during such proclamation, it cannot be challenged in any court of law even after the end of that proclamation. Third exception relating to other which is said equality before law. The third one is president and governors. Under article 361, the president and the governors are not answerable to any court for any act done in exercise of their power and duties of the office. No criminal proceedings whatever shall be instituted or continued against the president or the governor of a state. No process for the arrest or imprisonment of the president or the governor of a state shall issue from any court during his term of office. So, they are exempted from equality. These are the three exceptions to equality before the law. So, after the first expression of equality before the law, now I will explain about the second expression in article 14, that is equal protection of the law. Equal protection of the laws is one of the equal protection of the law means law must be applied equally to all and the fruits of a statute must be distributed to all equally without any discrimination. This article 14 imposes a duty on the state to take all the necessary steps to ensure that the guarantee of equal treatment of people is followed, whereas the equal protection of the law is positive concept implying equal treatment among equals. So, these are the two expressions in article 14. Next is reasonable classification. Article 14 allows reasonable classification but prohibits class legislation. Now, I will explain what is reasonable classification and what is class legislation. Under this rule, like should be treated alike and unlike should not be treated alike, which means equal people must be treated equally without any bias or discrimination, but unequals need not be treated equally. The provision equality before the law is not possible in all times. Every person is not the same and therefore it is not practically possible to have a universal application of equality. It means men should be treated equally among men and women should be treated equally among women equally. There should not be any discrimination among them. Thus, the laws cannot be of a general character and some reasonable classification is permitted under article 14. So, reasonable classification means classification on reasonable grounds. The legislature is empowered to identify and classify different people differently on reasonable ground. We can understand the reasonable classification through a landmark case, that is K.A. Abbas versus Union of India. The petitioner K.A. Abbas, a renowned film producer, produced a documentary film called A Tale of Four Cities. In this movie, certain shots of Bombay red light areas are also shown. The censor board granted a certificate by restricting the exhibition to adults only. The petitioner challenged the issue of A certificate and sought U certificate to his film. Here I want to inform you that whenever a documentary or motion movies contains obscene or horror or terror scenes are shown, then it will be issued A certificate by restricting it to adults only. If these scenes are not there, then U certificate, that is unrestricted certificate, will be issued for unrestricted exhibition. In the present case, since the movie contains obscene of red light area, the censor board issued A certificate which is challenged by the petitioner K. Abbas. The petitioner claimed that his fundamental right of freedom of speech and expression, which was guaranteed under Article 19(1)(a), was denied by the order of the central government, and that he was entitled to a U certificate for his film as of a right. The Supreme Court held that motion picture is able to stir up emotions more deeply than any other product or art. Its effect, particularly on children and adolescents, is very great. They also remember the actions in the picture and try to imitate what they have seen in the movie. Therefore, the classification of films into two categories of U films and A films is reasonable classification. The treatment of motion picture on a different footing is a reasonable classification. Now, I will explain about what are tests for identifying the reasonable classification. The first test of checking the reasonability of classification is it should not be arbitrary, evasive and artificial in nature. This test will check whether the classification is based on some substantial distinction or not. The second test is whether the classification is based on an intelligible differentia and should not be some made up the distinction. The third test is whether there is substantial basis for making the classification. The fourth test is whether there is a nexus between the basis of classification and the object of the statute. In other words, there must be some rational nexus between the basis of classification and the object intended to achieve. For example, classification of people based on their income is a reasonable classification for the purpose of Article 14. This classification is for providing some benefits, that is a reasonable classification. Here the differentia for classification is connected with the objective of providing some benefits to the people earning low income, and therefore this classification is valid. So, these are some tests to identify whether a legislation is reasonable or not. Now, coming to class legislation. In Air India versus Nargesh Mirza case, Nargesh Mirza was an air hostess in Air India, which is a state-owned corporation. As per the Corporation Service Regulation number 46, its air hostess would retire from the service under three circumstances. First one, upon attaining the age of 35 years. Second one, upon getting married if it took place within 4 years of service. Third one, upon first pregnancy whichever occurred earlier. So the poor air hostess has to retire at the age of 35 or marriage or first pregnancy. But under regulation number 47, the managing director of the corporation had the discretion to extend the age of retirement by 1 year at a time up to the age of 45 years. These regulations were challenged by Nargesh Mirza. The Supreme Court struck down these two regulations 46 and 47 on the ground of gender discrimination, which is a class legislation, and the conditions are unreasonable, arbitrary and clear violative of Article 14 of the Constitution. Further, the court said, after utilizing her services for 4 years and thereafter terminating her services if she becomes pregnant, and compelling the poor air hostess not to have any children and thus interfere with and divert the ordinary course of human nature. Such termination is not only a callous and cruel act, but an open insult to Indian womanhood, the most sacred and cherished institution. Further, the court also struck down regulation 47, under which the extension of the retirement of an air hostess was discriminatory, entirely at the mercy and sweet will of the managing director, and the conferment of such a wide and uncontrolled power on the managing director suffered from the vice of excessive delegation of powers. Such arbitrary classification by the state is known as class legislation, and it is forbidden by the Constitution, but it allows for reasonable classification in which the legislation is passed on a rational basis for the purpose of achieving some specific objectives. So, by reading these two cases of K.A. Abbas and Air India cases, we can understand that K.A. Abbas case, since the classification of a movie under A certificate and U certificate are reasonable, it falls in reasonable classification which is valid. In Air India case, since the discrimination of air hostess on gender basis is unethical and illegal, it is an example of class legislation. Okay friends, this is the end of my video. I will attach a PDF of detailed notes of this lecture in the description. Please go through it. If you have any queries, please post it in the comment section. Thank you very much. God bless you all.